Have you ever said something and immediately wished you could take it back? That one sentence, spoken in the heat of the moment, that changed everything? Maybe it damaged a relationship, lost you an opportunity, or made you question your own self-control. Words have power, more than most people realize. If you stay with this message until the end, you will learn something that can completely transform the way people see you, respect you, and respond to you. The ability to control what you say isn't just about avoiding trouble. It's about unlocking a level of influence and confidence that few ever achieve. Now think about this. Everything in life is built on communication. Your success, your relationships, your opportunities, they all depend on the way you express yourself. Words can either open doors or close them. They can create allies or enemies. They can build your reputation or destroy it in seconds. But here's the problem. Most people don't control what they say. They let emotions take over. They react without thinking, and then they pay the price. It's easy to blame circumstances, stress, or even other people for the way we speak, but the truth is, every word that leaves your mouth is a choice. A choice that shapes how the world perceives you. A choice that decides whether you are seen as strong or weak, wise or reckless, someone to respect or someone to ignore. Here's something powerful to remember. Words are permanent. You can delete a message, but you can't delete the impact of spoken words. People don't forget how you made them feel. A single sentence, spoken in anger or carelessness, can live in someone's mind forever. And once the damage is done, no apology can fully erase it. But here's the good news. If words have the power to destroy, they also have the power to build. They can inspire, they can heal, they can create connections and opportunities that last a lifetime. And that's where true power lies, not in speaking more, but in speaking with control. Imagine this. What if from today you became the kind of person whose words carried weight? What if, instead of reacting impulsively, you spoke with intention? People would listen when you talk. They would respect your presence. They would trust your words because they know you don't waste them. That's what happens when you learn to control what you say. So the question is, how do you do it? How do you train yourself to master your speech, to make sure your words work for you, not against you? That's exactly what you're about to discover. Keep going, because by the end you will have a skill that can change the way you experience life itself. Why we speak without thinking. Most people believe they are in control of what they say. But if that were true, why do so many regret their words the moment they leave their mouth? Why do people say things they never meant, only to spend hours, days, or even years trying to fix the damage? The answer lies in how the brain works. The human mind is wired for survival, not for wisdom. When faced with stress, conflict, or strong emotions, the brain doesn't take time to analyze, it reacts. It fires off words like a reflex without considering the long-term consequences. And that's the mistake. Words spoken in impulse are rarely wise. They are driven by emotion, not logic. This is why people say things they don't mean when they're angry, why they make promises they can't keep when they're excited, why they speak before thinking only to regret it later. It's not that they are bad people. It's that they haven't trained their minds to pause before they speak. Here's the truth. The strongest people are not the ones who speak the most. They are the ones who think before they do. They know that words, once spoken, cannot be taken back, so they wait. They observe. They allow the mind to settle before responding. And in doing so, they gain control, not just over their words, but over how others perceive them. But for most, this level of self-control feels impossible, because from a young age, people are conditioned to express every thought the moment it comes to mind. Social media, arguments, daily conversations, it all rewards instant reactions, not thoughtful speech. But those who master their words understand one thing: not everything needs a response. So what's the solution? If the brain is wired to react, how do you train it to pause? That's the key to mastering self-control. And once you understand it, you will never speak the same way again. The damage of uncontrolled words. Words are not just sounds. They are energy. They create ripples in the minds of others, shaping thoughts, emotions, and actions. A single sentence can lift someone up or break them down. And once those words are spoken, they can never be taken back. Think about it. How many relationships have been destroyed by one careless remark? How many opportunities have been lost because of an impulsive response? How many people carry wounds, not from physical harm, but from words that cut deeper than any blade? Psychology proves that the human mind remembers pain more vividly than pleasure. People may forget what you did, but they will never forget how your words made them feel. A harsh criticism, an insult, a lie, these things don't just disappear, they linger. They replay in the minds of others long after you've moved on. But the damage isn't just external, it's internal too. Every word you speak programs your mind. When you constantly complain, you reinforce negativity in your brain. When you gossip, you train yourself to focus on the flaws of others instead of your own growth. When you speak without thinking, you lose trust, not just from others, but from yourself. Because deep down you know when you've said too much. You know when you've hurt someone with reckless words. And over time, this creates guilt, regret, and self-doubt. It weakens your ability to lead, to connect, to influence. And that is why learning to control your words isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's about building power. Power in the form of respect. Power in the form of discipline. Power in the form of mastering yourself while the rest of the world remains controlled by their impulses. The moment you understand this, you step into a different level of life, where your words no longer work against you, but for you. The science of speech and the mind every word you speak is recorded, not just by the people around you, but by your own mind. The subconscious listens to everything you say and uses it to shape your identity, your emotions, and even your future. Words are not just communication. They are instructions to your brain. Psychologists have proven that when you repeat something often enough, your brain begins to accept it as truth. If you constantly say, "I'm not good enough," your mind believes it. If you always speak about problems, your brain starts looking for more problems. Your words create mental patterns that shape your perception of life. But it doesn't stop there. The way you speak also influences how others treat you. People subconsciously mirror the energy you give off. Speak with confidence and people will see you as strong. Speak with uncertainty and they will doubt you. Speak with negativity and they will avoid you. This is why successful people are intentional with their words. They don't waste them on gossip, complaints, or pointless arguments. They understand that words hold weight, that every sentence is either working for them or against them. And most importantly, they know that their words influence their own mind before they influence anyone else. So ask yourself, what kind of language do you use daily? Do your words empower you or weaken you? Do they bring solutions or amplify problems? The answer to these questions will tell you exactly why your life is the way it is. Because the truth is simple. Change your words and you change your mind. Change your mind and you change your life. The power of silence. Most people believe that power comes from speaking more, from dominating conversations, from always having the last word. But in reality, the strongest people are not the ones who speak the loudest. They are the ones who know when to stay silent. Silence is not weakness. It is control. It is wisdom. It is the ability to pause when others react, to observe when others rush, to think when others speak without thought. When you master silence, you gain an advantage over those who are controlled by their emotions. Because here's the truth. Most people talk to fill the emptiness. They speak out of discomfort, out of insecurity, out of a need to be heard. But those who are truly confident, those who are truly in control, do not need to prove themselves with endless words. Their presence alone speaks for them. Think about the people who command the most respect. They are not the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who make every word count. When they speak, people listen because they don't waste words. They don't speak just to be heard. They speak with intention, with meaning, with power. But silence is more than just an external tool. It is an internal discipline. The ability to remain silent in moments of anger saves relationships. The ability to withhold unnecessary words prevents regret. The ability to observe before responding allows you to see what others miss. In a world that encourages constant talking, choosing silence is an act of strength. It forces others to reveal themselves while you remain in control. It keeps you from saying things you will later regret. It builds an aura of mystery, of presence, of authority. Because here's what most people don't realize. The less you speak, the more your words matter. Emotional triggers, why you lose control. Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? You weren't thinking, you were reacting. And that's the problem. Most people don't lose control of their words because they lack intelligence or discipline. They lose control because their emotions take over before their mind has a chance to think. This happens because the brain is wired for survival, not logic. When you feel attacked, insulted, or pressured, your body releases stress hormones. Your heartbeat rises, your muscles tense, and before you even realize it, you speak, not with wisdom, but with impulse. This is why anger makes you say things you don't mean, why frustration makes you lash out, why stress makes you impatient. In these moments, your brain isn't focused on long-term consequences, it's focused on relieving the tension right now. And that's where most people fail, because in the rush to react, they sacrifice their power. But here's the truth. Emotional control is speech control. If you don't control your emotions, you will never control what you say. And if you don't control what you say, your words will control you. They will damage your relationships, your reputation, and your ability to command respect. The key is awareness. The moment you recognize that your emotions are taking over, you create space between reaction and response. And in that space, you take back your power. Because the strongest people are not the ones who never feel emotion, they're the ones who refuse to let emotion control them. Master this, and you master your words. Master your words, and you master your life. The 5-second rule to stop reckless speech. Most people don't think before they speak, they react. They let emotions take over, and in just a few seconds they say something they can't take back. But what if those few seconds could be the difference between regret and respect? Between losing control and mastering yourself? This is where the 5-second rule comes in. It's simple. Before you respond, pause. Count to 5. Why? Because those 5 seconds create space between emotion and action. They allow logic to catch up before impulse takes over. They stop you from saying something destructive, from reacting in anger, from making a situation worse. Science proves that emotions are temporary. The intensity of anger, frustration, or excitement fades within seconds. But words? Words last forever. What you say in an emotional state can live in someone's mind for years. And once spoken, you can't erase them. The 5-second rule forces you to regain control. It gives you the chance to ask yourself, is this worth saying? Will this help or hurt the situation? Will I regret this later? The strongest people are not the ones who speak first, they are the ones who think first. They understand that silence, even for a few seconds, is more powerful than reckless words. Because here's the truth. Speaking is easy. Restraint is hard. But restraint is what separates those who react from those who lead, rewiring your brain for thoughtful speech. Your brain is like a muscle. It can be trained. It can be reshaped. And just like any muscle, the more you practice, the stronger it gets. So, if you want to master your words, you need to practice rewiring your brain to think before you speak. Most people act on impulse because they haven't developed the mental habit of pausing and considering the consequences. They speak automatically without realizing that they are creating patterns of thought and behavior that will continue to guide their actions. The more you react without thinking, the more it becomes second nature. But here's the great news. You can change that. It starts with awareness. The moment you recognize that you've said something out of impulse or emotion, take a mental note. That's your signal to rewire your brain. Each time you pause before responding, your brain learns to stop reacting and start thinking. With practice, your responses will become more intentional, more calculated, and more powerful. A great way to begin this practice is by focusing on your inner dialogue. What do you tell yourself before you speak? Are you speaking with doubt, anger, or frustration? Or are you speaking with clarity, confidence, and calm? The words you speak to yourself shape how you speak to others. If your internal conversation is filled with negativity, your external words will reflect that. But if you train your mind to speak with purpose, your words will carry weight. Start small. Practice pausing in everyday situations. Don't react to every comment or question. Give yourself a moment to consider the best response. Over time, you'll find that this becomes easier, and you'll gain the ability to control what you say in even the most emotionally charged situations. Because here's the reality: the more you train your mind to think before you speak, the more your words will become an extension of your true strength. And with that power, you can influence, inspire, and lead in ways that most people can only dream of. How powerful people speak differently. Have you ever noticed how some people just command attention when they speak? They don't shout, they don't have to argue, but when they speak, people listen. Their words hold weight. They convey authority without having to force it. And the secret behind this isn't luck, it's intention. Powerful people know the value of their words. They speak less, but with more impact. They don't waste time with idle chatter or unnecessary complaints. They understand that words are precious and every word must serve a purpose. So, what's different about the way powerful people speak? First, they are intentional. Every word they speak is carefully chosen. They don't say things just to fill silence or to make themselves feel better. They say things that move the conversation forward, that inspire others, that create opportunities. Second, powerful people listen more than they talk. They understand that true power lies in understanding others before expressing their own opinion. They know that by truly listening, they gain insight into what others need and want. This allows them to speak in a way that resonates, that motivates, and that influences the people around them. Third, they are calm. Emotional reactions are not their default. When others are panicking or reacting emotionally, they remain composed. Their words are measured, and they speak only when they have something valuable to contribute. This level of self-control commands respect. And finally, powerful people are confident in their words. They don't second-guess themselves or hesitate. They trust the power of their message, and that confidence is contagious. When they speak, people believe in them because they project certainty and conviction. If you want to speak with the same power, start by adopting these habits. Speak with intention. Listen before responding. Remain calm under pressure. Speak with confidence. And over time, you'll notice how your words begin to carry the same weight as those who already have the influence you admire. Because here's the truth: the way you speak determines how people see you. Speak with power, and you'll build a reputation that follows you everywhere you go. The energy behind your words carry energy. They are not just empty sounds. They hold the power to uplift, destroy, connect, or separate. The energy behind your words is felt by others, often before they even hear what you say. Have you ever noticed how the energy in a room shifts depending on who's speaking? One person can walk into a room and bring light, while another can drain the room with negativity. This is because the words you speak are infused with the energy of your thoughts, your emotions, and your mindset. Negative words, complaints, gossip, insults carry a heavy, draining energy. They lower the vibration of the people around you. They invite tension, fear, and conflict. And when you speak negatively, not only do you affect the people you're speaking to, but you also start to lower your own energy. The more you focus on the bad, the more your mind is programmed to see the bad. Your words reflect that. But positive words, words of encouragement, love, and solution, carry a completely different energy. They lift others up. They create harmony. They build bridges instead of walls. And when you speak positively, your own energy rises too. The more you focus on what's good, the more your mind is programmed to see the good. Your words reflect that. Powerful people understand the energy behind their words. They know that every time they speak, they are either adding to the energy in the room or taking away from it. They choose to speak in a way that lifts, inspires, and motivates. They refuse to waste their words on negativity. This is why it's essential to become conscious of the energy you bring into conversations. Before you speak, ask yourself, what energy am I bringing to this conversation? Am I building up or tearing down? Am I contributing to the solution or the problem? When you start speaking with positive energy, not only will your words carry more power, but they will also start attracting the same energy back to you. You'll begin to see how your words shape your reality, how they create the opportunities, relationships, and success you desire. Because here's the truth: the energy behind your words is what ultimately shapes the world around you. You speak with positive energy, and you will become a magnet for success, influence, and respect. The role of self-discipline and speech mastering. What you say isn't just about controlling your emotions or choosing your words carefully. It's about self-discipline, the ability to hold back when every impulse in your body wants to speak, to pause and reflect when everything in you is telling you to react. This is the true power behind thoughtful speech. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of effective communication. Without it, words flow freely and without purpose, and emotions drive the conversation rather than logic. It's easy to speak when everything feels comfortable, but true control comes when you can choose to speak wisely, even under pressure. The more you practice self-discipline, the more control you gain over your speech. It's not about suppressing your emotions or holding back your thoughts. It's about channeling them in a way that serves your greater goals. When you master self-discipline, you gain the ability to respond rather than react. You choose your words based on the desired outcome, not on impulse. For example, in moments of conflict, the undisciplined mind reacts with anger or frustration, saying things that only escalate the situation. But the disciplined mind waits, it thinks, it speaks with clarity and calmness, turning what could be a confrontation into a productive conversation. This same discipline extends to everyday situations. The more you practice pausing before speaking, whether in a meeting, a conversation with a friend, or even an argument, the more natural it becomes. Over time, it becomes your default mode. You no longer react to everything that triggers you. Instead, you respond with purpose and control. It's important to understand that self-discipline in speech is not about being perfect. It's about having the power to choose your words wisely. It's about understanding that the quality of your speech directly influences the quality of your life. And the more disciplined you are in your speech, the more you'll see how it elevates your relationships, your reputation, and your ability to lead. Because here's the truth, self-discipline in speech doesn't just improve communication, it builds respect, trust, and influence. The more disciplined you become with your words, the more power you hold. The impact of words on your relationships. Words are the foundation of every relationship. Whether with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, the way you speak shapes how others see you and how they interact with you. The words you choose can either strengthen your bonds or create distance. Think about the relationships in your life. How many times have words, both positive and negative, had a lasting impact? Maybe a compliment strengthened your connection with someone, or a harsh comment caused a rift that took time to heal. This is the power of language. It has the ability to build trust or break it down in an instant. When you speak thoughtfully and with respect, you demonstrate that you value the other person's feelings, opinions, and presence. You listen before responding. You choose your words with care. And in return, people are more likely to open up to you, trust you, and treat you with the same respect. On the flip side, when you speak recklessly, you create emotional distance. People remember hurtful words. They may forgive you, but they won't forget. And over time, the trust that was once there begins to erode. Relationships become strained, misunderstandings arise, and your influence begins to fade. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. The tone, the delivery, the intention behind your words, they all matter. When you speak with kindness, empathy, and clarity, you create an environment where people feel safe, heard, and valued. And when people feel valued, they are more likely to support you, help you, and trust you. The strongest relationships are built on a foundation of thoughtful communication, the ability to speak with intention, to listen actively, and to choose words that nurture the connection rather than tear it down. So ask yourself, what do your words say about your relationships? Are you building bridges or walls? Are your words strengthening the bonds you share? Or are they creating distance? The power to influence and improve your relationships is in your hands, and it begins with the words you choose to speak. Because here's the truth, the quality of your relationships is determined by the quality of your speech. Speak with love, empathy, and understanding, and watch your connections deepen in ways you never thought possible. Words as a reflection of your self-respect. The way you speak to others is a direct reflection of how you see yourself. Your words show your level of self-respect, self-esteem, and confidence. If you speak negatively about yourself or let others speak poorly to you, it reveals how little respect you have for your own worth. People who respect themselves do not allow disrespect to enter their conversation. They understand that their words carry weight, not only in the eyes of others, but in their own self-perception. When you speak with confidence and clarity, you are sending a message to yourself that you are valuable, worthy, and capable. You are not just choosing words that others will respect, you are also choosing words that reinforce your own self-worth. On the other hand, when you constantly speak with self-doubt, negativity, or self-deprecation, you are subconsciously telling your mind that you are not enough. You are reinforcing the belief that you don't deserve success, happiness, or fulfillment. And over time, those beliefs will manifest in your actions and in the way others treat you. Consider this. What would you say to someone you truly respect? You would probably speak to them with kindness, encouragement, and support. You wouldn't belittle them or criticize them harshly. You would choose words that build them up, not tear them down. So why should you treat yourself any differently? The way you speak to others is a reflection of how you value them. But the way you speak to yourself is a reflection of how you value yourself. If you want to raise your level of self-respect, start by choosing words that uplift you, not words that bring you down. Speak to yourself as you would speak to a close friend, encouraging, empowering, and always with kindness. Because here's the truth, the words you speak define your self-worth. If you want to increase your self-respect, start by changing the way you speak. The more you speak with confidence and self-love, the more your actions will align with that belief. And in turn, you will attract others who see you in the same way. The link between words and your success. The path to success is often paved with the words you choose to speak, both to others and to yourself. Every success story starts with a belief, and that belief is reinforced by the words you use. Whether you're striving for career growth, personal achievement, or emotional well-being, the words you speak will either propel you forward or hold you back. Success is not a result of random chance. It is a product of deliberate action, and words are a key part of that action. When you speak with purpose, you align your thoughts and actions with your goals. Every word you utter is a step toward the person you want to become. When you speak positively about your abilities, your vision, and your future, you create a mindset that attracts success. But the opposite is also true. Negative words create self-doubt. Complaints and criticism weaken your resolve and focus. Every time you speak about how hard things are, how difficult the journey is, or how much you're struggling, you reinforce the belief that success is something outside of your reach. You create a narrative of struggle instead of triumph. The most successful people understand the power of language in shaping their future. They speak with confidence about their goals, even when faced with obstacles. They don't dwell on failures or setbacks because they know that every word they speak is a building block for the future they're creating. They focus on solutions, not problems. They speak of possibilities, not limitations. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending things are always easy. It means choosing to speak in a way that reinforces your resilience and drive. It means framing your struggles as temporary and your successes as inevitable. When you speak with a sense of certainty and purpose, you send a message to your subconscious mind that you are capable of overcoming any obstacle. Ask yourself, how do your words shape your vision of success? Are you speaking in a way that reflects your potential, or are you limiting yourself with self-doubt and negativity? The words you speak today are the foundation for the success you'll experience tomorrow. Speak with intention, and success will follow. Because here's the truth, your words are the first step toward the success you seek. Speak with belief, and you will create the future you desire. The impact of words on your health. What if we told you that your words could directly affect your health? It might sound surprising, but the language you use, not just with others, but with yourself, can influence your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Research shows that constant negativity or self-criticism leads to stress, anxiety, and depression. The more you speak negatively about yourself or your situation, the more your body reacts. Stress hormones flood your system, triggering a cascade of reactions that affect your heart, immune system, and overall health. If you're always focusing on what's wrong or complaining about your circumstances, your body will respond as if it's in a constant state of threat. On the other hand, speaking positively, focusing on gratitude, and choosing empowering words can have the opposite effect. Positive speech triggers the release of feel-good chemicals in the brain like dopamine and serotonin. These chemicals reduce stress, promote healing, and boost your immune system. When you speak with optimism and hope, you literally change the way your body responds to life's challenges. It's not just about what you say to others, it's also about what you say to yourself. How do you speak to yourself when you're struggling or facing a challenge? Are you your own biggest critic, or are you your biggest supporter? The words you use to describe your situation can either make it worse or help you overcome it. When you say, "I can handle this," or "I'm getting stronger every day," you send